All right, let's get started. Welcome to the Calgary Python Meetup. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Carson, and I think you all know me. Here in the slide at the bottom, there is a Slack channel for Calgary tech community. If you haven't joined, you can join using this Slack address. All right, thanks for our sponsorship, Talkable Logic, for tonight's event. Talkable Logic is an InfoSec security company where they automate InfoSec information security auditing process. It's really cool company, and they're still hiring during this pandemic. So they're hiring for both front-end and back-end senior positions, and junior to intermediate DevOps and QA positions, and there are a couple other positions. So if you or your friends wants to apply, feel free to go there and take a look. And here is the Pac-Man rule. Although we couldn't meet in person, this rule is still very important. So what it does is, when you are standing as a group of people, always leave room for one person to join your group. So you always have this open side where people can join for a conversation. This is really good for social. All right, today's talk. So first, I will be giving a talk on the Django Admin site. So it's the optimization for Django Admin site with tables more than 1 million rows. And then we'll have Xingdong presenting crack leetcode with Python. Okay, here are a couple upcoming events. The first one is DevFest AB. So it's Alberta-wise DevFest. It's November 21st online. The second one is Global Day of Code Retreat. It's November 7th. It's also online. We also have another PyYYC DataCon to 2021. It's next year, March, but TBD. So if you're interested in events, I think this year and probably next year will all be online ones. And you can check out the Python org website for the events. Here are some news. The Python 3.8.6 is available now, and Python 3.5 is no longer supported. So if you are able to upgrade, please upgrade to 3.8 for now, and you should consider upgrading that ASAP. Django also released a bug fix for version 3.1.2. All right, reading for the month, my favorite. The first article is Django models, encapsulation and data integrity. This is a really good article because it tells you how to write your Django models. We all know for Django, the best practice is fat models, thin views. But how fat is models? How thin is the views? How to make sure the data integrity throughout your web app? And this article demonstrates everything. So basically, the rule of thumb is that never write a model field or call save directly. So I've been there where the save is overridden like many times, and there are like hooks, signals to the save, post-save, save, pre-save, and it's just such a mess. So by doing some really good architecture change, you can avoid this mess and put all the information together. So if you look at this article, you will learn a lot, hopefully. The second one is loading large data set in pandas. So if you're using pandas for data science, the chances are you will encounter super large data sets like terabytes. So how do we do that? The first way this article shows is that using chunking and load the data size chunk by chunk. But some operations will be really hard. So for example, the group or similar. And then you could also use SQL with pandas, which is basically a database. So you can put all your data into a database and load it with pandas and use pandas as sort of like an interactive tool to the database with raw SQLs. The third article is a horizontal comparison between a few different tools for a dashboard. It also compares the web frameworks like the Flask or some platforms like Jupyter So I found this article to be quite interesting. It provides a lot of informative data. The last one is not really like technology, specific technology or Python related. It's more like generic article for the science of becoming a senior developer. According to the author, the coding, mentoring, business-minded, and decision-making and communications are the 5 important factors for a senior developer. But what do you think? Do you think it's different or you think it's the same? So feel free to read the articles. The titles are all clickable. And I've also posted this opening slides into the PyCharm draw license. Speaking of that, the PyCharm draw license, we're going to do a PyCharm license draw this meetup, and the link has been posted to the chat. Feel free to click it. And also it's in the QA in the answered part. So you can click that and copy and paste to see it. All right, so as usual, the top 2 links are the Alberta COVID stats and the Canada COVID stats. We will be canceling next Python meetup, which is November 1 and the December 1, because December 1 collides with Christmas Day. So the next one will be January 27th. However, in the middle of the slide, you'll see this huge message that I'm showing you that we will be organizing a Python bootcamp in November. So it's going to be late November, early December-ish. It will be 4 weekends, so 3 hours per week. It's probably going to be Sunday. I will post more info about it. It's opening to more junior and intermediate Python developers or who are interested. So I will be posting links and details later. Just keep an eye on this. And if you're would like to present in the next Python meetup, which will be January next year, feel free to talk to us. And if you want to collaborate or sponsor the event in any way, just feel free to talk to us. We're always looking for any presenters or sponsors or collaborators. All right. Let me share my screen for my slides. Okay. Can you all see it? Rich, can you see it?
Yep. Yeah, that's full screen.
Full screen? Everything's good? Awesome. So here's my slides. Today's presentation is Make Django Admin site great again. It's the optimization for tables with more than millions of rows. And I'm Carson again. All right, the table of content. I'm going to first give a quick intro to the Django Admin and tell you what it is if you don't know that already. And then I will be showing some detailed tricks on how to optimize Django Admin for large tables. And at last, I will be showing how to debug Django Admin performance. So what is Django Admin site? Well, Django Admin site is an automated interface, admin interface. It's full front-end interface where no actual front-end code is needed to a certain degree. You can always override the templates. So what it does is it reads metadata from your models to provide a quick model-centric interface where trusted users can manage the content on your website. But it's not intended to be used as a CMS. So the recommended usage is limited to an organization's internal management tool. So this is majorly used for your internal teams. You shouldn't expose to any external customers or end users. All right, so sometimes, well, when the Django Admin site is out for like small tables, it's working like a charm. It's super fast. But when your app grows, when your table is bigger than like million of rows, what do? Sometimes it'll be super slow and it can be using like 5 minutes to load up or even never load up. So how do you fix it? The first one I'm going to show you is the n+1 problem in the list view. So the list view is a view where the Django Admin show a list of the records for this table. And what is this n+1 problem? It's very common for any ORMs, which is the code that looks over a list of results from one query and then performs another query per result. So this is quite crazy for this automated ORM stuff. The list display function or parameter controls which fields are displayed on the change list page of the admin. And what Django does is that it first counts the object, which is one query, and then fetches all the actual objects, which is n queries, and then passes the fetch data onto the template for rendering. So let's say for a default pagination size of 100, Django will automatically query the database for 100 times, and then for another one query to get the count, and it'll be 101 queries in total. So how to fix this? Well, we could use list select related to perform a join instead of fetching the names one by one. So on the bottom right here, you can see I've provided an example of how to do that. The next one is the read-only fields. So in the detail page, the previous slides I was talking about the list page where you see a list of rows. In the detail page is that when you click in one list, one row, and then you go into that details page of all the fields. So the detail page, Django will create an addable element for each field. The text field will be a text, the text and chart fields will be the text boxes, and the choice fields and foreign key fields will be rendered as a select element, which is a drop-down menu. So the detail page will fetch the entire table on the open list. And then if you have a lot of foreign key related to this, the select element will be super large and it'll take forever to render that. So how do we fix it? We can use read-only fields flag to tuple to make sure it will only render the description of the related models. So for example, I've given an example here which sets the read-only fields to be the user. And what if we want to change it or we have to change it? Well, we can use the raw ID fields. So here you can see if you put in the raw ID fields here, it's rendered as a text box where you can put the IDs there, which are the numbers. And then is the filters. So since most of the time, Django Admin side is used as a day-to-day support tool, most of the times we use the same filter. Well, therefore, we could be a little bit more creative where we apply filters for a given page so that we don't have to fetch the entire database for that. We could only fetch the certain part of the table. So, and also sometimes we can cache the certain filters, so it results a quicker display. The next one, and probably the biggest one, is a paginator. The list display page, the first page, the first thing I said about this thing is the list display page. It comes with the paginator where it shows a count for the total number of pages. But what Django does is that it spends most of the time counting the rows of tables. Like more than 99% of the time, if your load time is like more than 5 minutes, then you can think about like 4 minutes and more to be looking for this paginator stuff. So what happened was that Django counts the entire table to know how many rows first, and then determine how many pages to show on the template. So how do we fix this? We could write the customer paginator to override the default one. There are many ways to do that. You can write a customer one where it stops for a certain amount of time, or you can limit the paginator to some wild guess or whatever. But the one I prefer is to use the DB provided function. There is a guess function, so it can estimate how many rows in the table. you can render it. It's not like very accurate, but it's certainly it's good enough, because if you have like more than 1,000 pages, then it probably doesn't really matter. So for Postgres, the function name is called rel tuples. You can Google search this if you don't know. There are also a lot of other tricks. So for example, you can always override the get query function to write custom queries, either using ORM or not. You can write raw queries. You can also use this show full result flag to prevent Django from displaying the total number of rows in the list view. Defer is also used to do a lazy evaluation of queries. So that means you only fetch it when you need it. This is best suitable for like large columns, like the JSON field or the text fields or whatever. Also, there's a neat function for the date hierarchy, where it's a date hierarchy to the date field and date time field in your model. So it changed the list page to include the database drill down, a date-based drill down navigation by the field, but it's quite slow. As you can see on the right, there are these dates here that are preset if you set this. But how do we fix that? Well, similar to the filters, we can also give pre-estimated date range to limit the query scope, so it'll become much faster. So all of the things I said was basically comes down to the generic query optimization tips. For example, like using select related, using prefetch related, or using subqueries, something like that. So down to the bottom, the real rule of thumb is just try to target related data. Just try not to fetch the entire table. If you restrict your search, it'll be much quicker. So at last, how do we debug Django Admin performance? The first one I would like to show you is the Django debug toolbar, where it's a package you can install and you can configure it in your settings. After configuration is done, when you reload your web app, on all of these pages, you will see this sidebar showing on the right, and you can click on it. You can see the queries, detailed query infos, and all the link info and everything. It's super handy. For example, on the screenshot I show you on the left, it shows all the queries that are on this page and their time. So you can do a really good job on optimizing the queries and optimizing the load times. On the right, it's a little bit simpler. It's to configure the logins on the Django, so you can see the database queries logging. All right, that's it for me. I've linked all these articles that I use as a reference. So it's a quick presentation, but it's quite tricky to debug sometimes and to work with sometimes. Hopefully these these tips can help you in the future, and feel free to ask me any questions.
If anyone has any questions, you can either drop them in the chat or the Q&A. And I just reposted the link to the draw in the chat.
Awesome. Do we have any questions?
I don't see any, Carson, but if any come in at the end, then we'll circle back when Xingdong's. Oh, here's one.
For sure.
So Chris is asking, what is the largest data set anyone has used the admin on?
Nice. I'm not entirely sure, but I've seen tables with millions rows, like 2, 3, 5 millions. I've seen all of them. Yeah. If you don't see the link in the chat, do you want to post again, Rich?
I just posted it again, Phil. Okay. Oh, you know what? That's my bad. I'm posting it to all the panelists.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sorry,
cool. So
sorry, everyone.
Yeah, so the largest data set I can see, I saw was like less than 5 minutes, let's say. Yeah. But if it's like more than 10 million, I think we should start the database anyway. Cool. Is there any more questions?
Don't see anyone. So yeah, if anyone has a question, just drop it in the chat or in the Q&A, and we'll get to it before we wrap up. But yeah, I don't see any yet, Carson.
Awesome. So for those who just joined during my presentation, Rich just sent the link to a PyCharm license draw in the chat. If you click on the link, you can put your name for a draw at the end of today's meetup. And also I've put the opening slides link and my slides link to the spreadsheet. So you can always open it up and take a look. And feel free to start my repo if you like it. Thanks. And then I will pass it on to Xingdong.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Xingdong. I can see your screen.
Okay. Okay, I can start my presentation.
Yep.
Hello, everyone. My name is Xingdong, and I'm happy to be here to share with my experience with Python. My topic today is crack LeetCode with Python. First, let me introduce myself. Last year, I got my bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from Zhejiang University. Currently, I am a Master of Science student in Biometric Technologies Lab in Calgary, and my research interest is to apply deep learning technologies to the biometric field. Also, I am an algorithm lover. I have been practicing algorithm problems in LeetCode for 1 year, solved 1,300 problems, and finished 78 contests. My overall ranking in LeetCode is 278, and my best ranking during one contest is 20. Okay, you may ask, what is LeetCode and why we need to do LeetCode? LeetCode is a website where people, mostly SDE or DS, to practice their algorithm problem-solving skills. In North America, algorithm problem is an important part of recruiting and can help a lot in your career. If we search on Google, Amazon, SDE interview process, and click into the first post. This post shows the interview process and timeline. After you submit your resume, you may have online assessments, you will have phone screening and on-site. During online assessments, you will be required to debug questions. You will be expected to solve data structure and algorithm questions. During technical phone screens, you will be expected to solve typical data structure and algorithm questions in an online text editor. In on-site interviews, you will also be required to solve data structure and algorithm questions on a whiteboard. This post also lists some example questions related with graphs, trees, arrays, and strings, and also give a solution link. If we click the link, we are direct to LeetCode. In LeetCode, if we click problems and then algorithms, now all the algorithm problems on LeetCode are listed here. We can solve problems by topics or by companies. Before we start LeetCode, there are some prerequisites to meet. If you are using Python, you should know control flow statements in Python. You should know logic expressions and have some ideas of basic data structures like array, string, hash set, hash map, you should know how to define a core function. It will be better if you know OOP in Python, how to analyze time complexity, and how to define a core recursive function. Okay, now let's see an easy problem. The title of the problem is two-sum. It is the first problem in LeetCode. Also, it is a very classic and highly rated problem. In the left part is the description part, and in the right part, you are going to implement your solution. Let's see the description part together. In this problem, we will be given an array of integers, nums, and an integer target. What we are expected to do is to return the indices of two numbers such that the two numbers add up to target. And we are guaranteed that there is exactly one solution. Let's see example 1. There are 4 elements in the nums. They are 2, 7, 11, 15, and the target is 9. It is easy to notice that 2 plus 7 equals 9. The index of 2 is 0. The index of 7 is 1. So we will return 0, 1. In example 2, there are 3 elements in nums. They are 3, 2, 4, and the target is 6. It is also easy to notice that 2 plus 4 is 6. The index of 2 is 1. The index of 4 is 2. So we will return 1, 2. In the third example, there are only 2 numbers and they add up to 6. So we will return 0, 1. In the right part, we will go to implement our solution. You can choose many languages, C++, Java, Python, C, C#, JS, and my favorite language is Python 3. I will retrieve my last submitted code. To solve this problem, I will use a hash map. In Python, it is a dictionary. In line 3, I initialize a dictionary to store the value index pair of elements, and I iterate all elements from left to right. When I visit each element, I will make a check if we have visited its complement before. If yes, it means we have found the 2 numbers add up to target, and we will return the 2 indices of these 2 numbers. If not, we will put the current value index pair into dictionary. As it is guaranteed that there is exactly one solution, so before we finish iterating, we must have returned the answer. When I click submit, my solution gets accepted. In this page, I will share my experience and tips how to improve your coding skills. If you haven't started with LeetCode, I will recommend you to start with easy and highly rated problems. It is okay that your major is not computer science. It is okay that you haven't taken any course related with data structures and algorithms. As long as you have met the prerequisites in the previous page, as long as you know how to use Python, you can start with LeetCode. And the second, such things happen that you spend 10 minutes on an easy problem, but failed, don't know how to solve a problem. It is okay. Go to the discuss board and click rank by most votes. The title of the first post is here is a Python solution in ON time. It seems we may be interested with this, so click into it, see how others solve it. But sometimes text solutions are hard to understand, especially for those without any comments. I will recommend you to go to YouTube. put the title of the problem into search bar and watch videos about the solution. In most cases, video solutions are more understandable than text solutions. The third, I will recommend you to take part in contests. There are regularly held contests on every Saturday evenings. During a contest, you will meet brand new problems. Given 90 minutes, you are expected to solve 4 problems in different difficulty levels, 1 easy, 2 medium, and 1 difficult, just like a technical interview. So I strongly encourage you to take part in contests as long as you have confidence in solving an easy problem and treat it as an interview. The fourth is keep it as a habit. On weekdays, I will spend about 20 minutes to solve 1 or 2 problems. On weekends, maybe I will spend 2 hours to solve more problems. Please keep it as a habit. No matter how busy you are, spend 10 minutes a day to solve an easy problem. In this page, I will recommend some useful resources. The first is Python cheat sheet. If you are not familiar with Python, you can read this page. This page lists useful data structures and grammars of Python, like how to use list, dictionary, set, tuple, range, enumerator, generator, string, regular expressions, etc. And the second resource is data structure and algorithm visualizations. If you are this website lists many data structure and algorithm visualizations. Let's see if breadth first search. If you are new to this algorithm, I think this visualization will help you to understand how BFS works. Okay. And the third is LeetCode discuss board. In the discuss board, you can read the posts shared by other users about their interview experience, how they think about their careers. And I highly recommend you to read this post. That's post of 2019. It contains all the great posts in the last year, like how to LeetCode effectively, how to begin with LeetCode, and how to solve dynamic programming questions. That's all I want to share today. Another thing is that I will graduate in December 2021. So if you have full-time position or intern position in next summer that will be fit for me, please contact me in LinkedIn. Thanks.
Cool. Thanks for the presentation. Is there any questions? Feel free to post it in the QA or the chat.
Oh, I see one here from Chris. What is the easiest problem that you found hard, Xingdong?
Do you mean easiest problems that had a hard difficulty?
Yeah, so I'm guessing it says, what's the easiest problem you found hard? So I'm guessing what's a problem that looked easy that turned out to be hard?
I will see the difficulty level in LeetCode is not very standard. Sometimes I will meet easy problems that are very hard. Sometimes I will meet easy, hard, difficult, that is very easy. There was a time during a contest, the last problem is a hard problem, and it is a dynamic programming problem, and I only spent 8 minutes to solve it. I think it is the easiest hard problem I have met, but I think I have forgot its name.
And what is the average amount of time you spend on each problem?
It depends. If it is during a contest, if it's an easy problem, maybe I will spend 3 to 4 minutes to solve it. And if it's a hard problem, maybe I will spend about 30 or 40 minutes, but I can't solve it.
Yeah. Cool. Any others? No, that's great. Great presentation, Xingdong. That's awesome. So
there's another question. What IE do you use?
Do you mean use in writing like, Python? I think
Python or VS Code or
actually when I'm doing my research, I have to write Python code, and all the members in my laboratories are using Spider to write Python code.
Just wondering, do you want to give a little introduction to the contest, the LeetCode contest?
Oh, LeetCode contest. Do you mean now? Can I share?
I mean, just introduction. Yeah, like what it's like. What's
Can I share my screen?
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. This, can you see my screen?
Yep.
This is the contest page of LeetCode, and in Calgary, the time of contest is every Saturday evening. During a contest, you will be given 90 minutes and expected to solve 4 problems. One easy, the slowest key is easy, and this 2 medium, and this is hard. And if you miss the contest, you can take part in the virtual contest, and it's like just like a real contest, but your ranking won't be taken into the rankings. Oh, sorry. There are altogether 200 weekly contests and about 40 bi-weekly contests. The bi-weekly contest is on every Saturday morning, but I think it is too early for people in Calgary, especially in winter. So I will take part in weekly contest at most. And there will have a discussion board for every contest. Oh, I think I left a comment here. Last contest is my 80 contest, and it is my first time to be in top 25.
Cool. Thanks for the share. Do we have more questions?
Oh, you know what? Let me check. Is it easier to find answers to Python questions on LeetCode or Stack Overflow?
If you mean the questions on LeetCode, I will recommend you to find the solutions in the discuss board. Because you can have uh, sorry, because in the discuss board, there are many solutions here, and in the title you can see how they solve the problem. The first is C++, the second is Java and Python, C++. So I will recommend you to find solutions in LeetCode discuss board.
No, that's perfect. So yeah, no, I don't. If anyone else had a question, just feel free to drop it in. We still have a few minutes here, so no worries if you have another question. But no, thanks so much, Xingdong. That was an awesome presentation. Oh, you're on mute, Carson.
Yes, nice catch.
I saw your lips moving, but
yes. So basically, we will be calling a day, I guess, and we will do a live Python draw. So if you want to participate, make sure you put your name there and make sure you stay to the last seconds. And again, our next one will be January next year, January 27th, and we'll be canceling the November and December one this year. We will be having a Python bootcamp late November, early December this year. So stay tuned. I will send out details and links later. Thank you all for joining us. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you all next time.